And so here's the brutal reality. Most startups don't fail because of a lack of funding, poor timing, or tough competition. They fail because they build something nobody wants. And here's where most founders go wrong. They become prematurely obsessed with their solution before validating the most critical parts of their business model. I call this the innovator's bias, and it happens to everyone. As with any cognitive bias, the key isn't trying to avoid it because that's usually impossible, but rather building systems that sidestep the bias. In the next few minutes, I'll show you how to capture and stress test your startup idea in a way that sidesteps the innovator's bias and increases your odds of success. And if you stick around till the end, I'll share a free template with real examples from companies like Airbnb and Netflix that show you exactly how to describe their breakthrough ideas using the same process. Hi there, if you're new to this channel, my name is Maurya. I'm an entrepreneur and author and the creator of the popular one-page business modeling tool Lean Canvas used by millions of founders around the world. On this channel, I share systematic strategies and techniques for launching and growing a startup. And today's strategy is all about speed, specifically how to stress test your startup idea in under 5 minutes using a leaner canvas. Now, before I show you what a leaner canvas is, let me quickly explain where it comes from. You might have heard of a lean canvas. It's a one-page business modeling tool that replaces those long, boring 40-page business plans that nobody reads. Instead of spending weeks writing a business plan, you can capture the entire business model on a single page. The Lean Canvas has 12 boxes covering everything from your customer segments and problems to your solution and revenue streams. Now, while the Lean Canvas is a great way to model your complete idea, I recommend starting even smaller. That's why I created the Leaner Canvas, and here's what one looks like. Now, the first thing you'll notice is that there is no solution or product box on the Leaner Canvas, and that's completely intentional because I find that this is where most founders stumble with a Lean Canvas. When describing their idea, it's natural for them to consciously or unconsciously start with their solution. When asked to fill out a Lean Canvas, they ask, who's the ideal customer for my solution to fill the customer segment and early adopter boxes? Then they ask, what specific problems can I solve for these customers with my solution to then fill the problem box? Do you see the pitfall with this approach? It suffers from the hammer problem. When you've already decided to build a hammer, everything starts looking like a nail, and this is how you easily fall into the innovator's bias trap. The key to sidestepping this bias is viewing your idea through a completely different lens or perspective. Like a prosecutor in a courtroom, you need to be able to make an ironclad case for your idea without having to rely on your solution. And that's why you don't see a solution box on the Leaner Canvas. The Leaner Canvas zeroes in on just two crucial boxes: customer segment and problem. This customer problem quadrant is the foundation that holds up your entire business model. If you get these wrong, everything else on your business model falls apart because you end up describing a solution that nobody wants, and even if you build it, no one buys it. Your business model at that point is doomed. I'm going to show you some real-world examples of how successful startups filled out these exact boxes at the end of the video, including companies that are now worth billions. But what's even more powerful with the Leaner Canvas is that you can use these boxes to also stress test your idea for desirability, viability, and feasibility in under 5 minutes. So let's start with desirability. Addressing desirability is where I start with all of my ideas because earning the attention of your customers is the first battle to win. No matter how elegant your solution is, if you fail to stop your customers in their tracks and pay attention to your product, no one will ever learn how awesome your product actually is. It's game over at that point. And contrary to popular belief, the best way to grab attention isn't by pitching or touting the benefits of your solution, but rather nailing a real customer problem worth solving. So what is a real customer problem? A real customer problem should ideally be familiar, specific, and compelling to your prospects. And the secret to uncovering familiar, specific, and compelling problems is reframing them not in terms of your solution or your solution's benefits, but rather your customers' existing alternatives instead. In other words, don't focus on describing problems you can solve with your solution, rather focus on describing problems your customers are already encountering with their existing alternatives. And yes, no matter how disruptive your product, you should be able to always find existing alternatives your customers are currently using. If you can't list any such existing alternatives, that's already a huge red flag. This subtle but important change in perspective is often the difference between inventing fake problems that just justify the solution you want to build and uncovering real problems worth solving. Okay, so desirability addresses the question, do customers want this? But not everything customers want is worth building. In order to build a repeatable and scalable business model, you need to chase those real customers worth solving. This is where viability stress testing comes in, which is the next step. Now, when it comes to viability, a lot of founders simply rely on the size of their market and think that if they are operating in a large enough market, they'll be okay. After all, 1% of $1 billion market is still a lot of zeros. The problem with this top-down approach is that it doesn't address how you're going to get to this 1% market share with your specific problem. And yes, sure, operating in a large market is key, but the riskier assumption when it comes to viability isn't market size, but rather your pricing model. Simply put, if you can't or don't charge enough, your business model won't be viable. This leads to another common mistake I often see. Too many founders think of pricing as an afterthought, where they set pricing relative to the cost of their solution. This, of course, is backwards. When you pause to think about this, customers don't really care what it costs to build your product. They care about solving problems and they buy desired outcomes. Pricing then should be set relative to problems and desired outcomes, not your solution or cost structure. So how do you do this? By looking for the best evidence of viability. The best evidence of viability is actual money being spent on an existing alternative. And this is the next question to ask. Are customers already spending time, money, and effort on existing alternatives to solve these problems? The answer to this question helps anchor and position your pricing model against familiar and specific problems and alternatives, making your offer a lot more compelling. And once you have your pricing model defined, you can then build a bottoms-up versus a top-down model to evaluate the real viability of your chosen market. If you're interested in learning how to do that, you should check out this video over here. Now on to the final stress test, the feasibility of your solution. Many founders obsess over feasibility too early in the process, but remember that the goal of a startup isn't building a working product, but rather a working business model. The beauty of starting with the customer problem quadrant on a leaner canvas is that you don't need to worry about complex technical questions until you have first validated that you are addressing a real problem for real customers. Problems and solutions are two sides of the same coin. Most people start with the solution and search for problems. But when the biggest risk is building something nobody wants, it's a lot smarter to reverse this order. Let me now bring this all together with a 5-step framework next. And remember, I've got that free template with real startup examples waiting for you at the end of this video to make this even easier. Step 1, draw 2 boxes side by side on paper. Step 2, label the right box customer segment and the left box problem. Under customer segment, write down who are your target customers, then who are your early adopters specifically, and what makes them different from mainstream customers. And this is the critical next step. Under the problem section of the canvas, write down what existing alternatives do they currently use today to solve these problems. Then think about what's broken with these alternatives and write down those problems in the problem box. This is how you go from vague or general problems to something a lot more familiar, specific, and compelling. And then finally, step 5, evaluate your idea by asking the following questions. Start with the desirability question. Are these problems familiar, specific, and compelling enough to grab attention? Then move on to the viability question. Are customers already spending time, money, and effort to solve these problems? And finally, the feasibility question. Can you build a different and compelling solution to these problems that will grab attention and cause a switch? If you can confidently answer yes to all 3 questions, you've got a promising starting point. Now, if you want to put this into practice right away, I've created a free leaner canvas template with 5 real examples from successful startups like Airbnb, Dropbox, and Netflix, so you can see exactly how to fill the customer problem quadrant and make a case for an idea without relying on your solution. This template makes it easy to capture your own idea using the same format, and the examples show you exactly what good looks like. You can download it for free at the link in the description below. Now, this simple 5-minute exercise creates a solid foundation for your business model. The next step from here would be sketching out a complete lean canvas business model and then start prioritizing and testing your riskiest assumptions from there. For more on that, you should check out this video over here. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.